As the Digimon card game moves into BT18, Elemental Successor, we see the introduction of two more tricolored cards. As the add army today we will dive into, is the tricolors and multiple colors going forward going to be a recurring thought of the Digimon card game, or is this an aspect that shouldn't be touched upon? Once again, everybody, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the race to 250 subs, and I'd like you to join. Now, as we move into today's topic, we have the first two tricolor cards being Magnamon X, as well as this option card that is basically a supporter for the Liberators theming that will happen in EX7. Now, this video is a little bit less conventional than my normal ones, as we're not actually talking about the cards themselves, more or less the impact that these tricolor cards are having. As I do believe with the introduction of Magnamon X, tricolor has been more than accepted as something very cool, but simultaneously something that is still up for debate. As with Magnamon X, the first thing that stands out for it is that, technically speaking, having the three colors, do they thematically fit into the Digimon itself? As many wonder, does this mean that it has like an exceptional level? Is it done thematically? Is there a lore implication? Why is this Digimon a tricolor card? And as we look into its effects, you can kind of see that there are evidence and maybe explanations as to why. As because it is Magnamon X, it would retain its blue-yellow coloring that it already possessed, but because it has reached a new limit in its I think X effect expanded form, this is picking up probably the black coloring as a way to show its next level up, as well as it possessing blocker is maybe its way of showing that it has also some black characteristics, as blocker was supposed to be maybe more of a black color normality in the beginning of Digimon's inception. But we can see with Magnamon X, it's a little different. When we look at the card, the support card for Liberators, the one thing that's a bit different here is it does have a special condition, which some cards have, where as long as you control a Liberator Tamer, you can just play this card without ignoring its color cost. So effectively, it circumvents the fact that it has three colors, maybe more so to lock it away or future-proof it from the usage in other decks, as well as maybe other decks that will have Liberator in the future being able to access this card. As I do believe with these first two cards, you can kind of see that the tricolor is used more maybe thematically or lore-wise to implicate each deck or the different strategies it's supporting in the case of the Liberator and Magnamon X. But the case still is out. Why tricolor isn't good for design? Now, as we move into BT18 so far with the leaks, we do have the new Kaiser or Emperor Greymon and the new Magna Garurumon. Now, both of them are actually tricolor Digimon, as they possess it in their evolution traits, but they also possess it in their colors for basically their Digi-evolution. In the case of their special evolution condition, they are kept thematically tied, as they can digivolve on top of the corresponding tamers in order to go into these Digimon. As if you were to look at the effect of Emperor Greymon, it does possess effectively the effects of each of its colors, being able to suspend the Digimon, trash sources, and effectively get a security attack +1. Basically making it available to use every piece of its different colors, as it has the titular traits associated with them. Aggression, suspension from green, and then obviously trashing sources from blue. However, when we move to Magna Garurumon, it's a little bit less than that, as I do get to one of the points of the tricolor maybe being not as important, as Magna Garurumon's effect is completely different from what you'd expect. It doesn't really have anything to do with maybe trashing sources. It similarly may have some implication with like X Antibody in the black color, as it does add sources to its own evolution sources, but it doesn't really have a yellow effect in any case for recovery, or even in the sense of maybe DP reduction. So looking at those, we do have an understanding that maybe the tricoloring is more so for aesthetic here than it is for actual lore implication or usage in its effects. Now it brings to the point, well, if tricolor, what does this mean going forward? So with tricolor going forward, I do believe that there will probably be more of them, but if Bandai and Digimon as a whole continues the trend, it should not be on all Digimon. I do believe tricolor should be used very sparingly, as I think Kaiser Greymon shows that they're trying to make sure that when they use this, they're trying to fold it in and make it work very uniquely, as Kaiser Greymon's probably the best example of how to balance it, because it clearly shows that it has 3 effects based around the colors that it possesses. So it's very good way to show it off. Now, with Garurumon, it's a little different because I don't really believe that this card is meant to do what it is intended for. So it does a different purpose than its colors are to allude you to, is the best way to put it. And in the case of Magna Garurumon, I do believe that this card is designed to be more of a finishing piece than it is to be something like a complementary piece to the strategies that it might fold into. So with all of that said, why is tricolor and more colors going to be a topic of discussion? Now, the biggest reason I'm going to see that is, in this set, will we get a brand new Susanomon to go alongside the cards for Frontier, and will Susanomon actually possess more than 3 colors? As it's possible that Susanomon may be one of the only and few Digimon to possess 6 colors in the game. Now, if that were to happen, that would be very interesting, as Susanomon's already been printed as a white Digimon, but I could see some culmination of it being a 6-colored in the first rainbow, essentially rainbow Digimon, possessing all of the colors of every line. And this would be very unique, as I do believe a Susanomon possessing these colors could work. The only issue I see is, what would its effect be? Would it be thematic? Would it be lore implication? Would it just have all the colors and ignore the usage of its colors at all? These are actually good questions. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, remember to pat yourself on the back, and remember to like the video, because if you got here, that means you made it. Now, the reason, if you're wondering why this video is important, it's more so to show the point of, will colors actually matter now as we go forward in the game? And this is a question that's probably standing out for some people. Maybe some people don't care as we get more archetypes and it starts to eliminate the need of color, just being more of a formality for certain decks. But my question is, will color stop mattering? As we see with these tricolor Digimon, their main focus isn't necessarily to make colors irrelevant, but in the case of Magna Garurumon and the option for Liberators, you can kind of see that their requirements aren't as important because they're being focused around maybe a tamer or a specific strategy. So clearly with Magna, it's going to probably be brought up with Koichi anyway, so it doesn't really matter that you have access to it in hard evolving. But in the case of the Liberators card, it's clearly meant to be thematic and used with the tamers on the field already. So it eliminates the need of the color anyways. So clearly what this means is, if colors are starting to become a formality, not necessarily a requirement, you will start to see probably more, I won't say broken cards, but we're going to see the next level of power creep, I think, introduce itself. As I do believe this will be the time that you'll start to see cards have special conditions that will allow them to come in, or if I believe it, this will be the next power creep in the form that these cards will have higher requirements to come into the battle area, specifically designed to work with their specific decks, but also keep them from being used generically, as they're going to be tied behind whatever's coming out next. So there is those other elements too. My biggest reason for doing this video, obviously, is just to talk about tricolor and more colors coming forward, as some people kind of find it funny already that there was already a tricolor card, but thanks to Element Successor, we know that more tricolor cards are obviously on the way. So this could mean that tricolor cards aren't going anywhere, and we'll probably get even more than what we were expecting in the first place. So if you guys like this video, remember to tell me. If you hated this video, also remember to tell me. Content doesn't get better without your help. Now, as always, this has been Brad from the Ed Army signing off. And for all of you out there, to sign on.